We're back. Even more Shacknews awards. We're gonna do the award for best multiplayer game of 2021. This is an online multiplayer game that came out this year. We're gonna give it an award. Who's got some nominations for me?
I mean,
Is anybody gonna nominate something that isn't Halo Infinite?
I was gonna say.
I am.
Mike, are you serious? I mean, you're wearing the shirt.
Oh.
That's true.
Pac-Man 99! I'll nominate Pac-Man 99, of course I will.
Here it is.
Absolutely. Alright, I was just making sure.
I completely forgot.
That game is such a peach.
It's so good. It's so goddamn good. Pac-Man 99 is the shit, man. Let me tell you, how do you take a game like Pac-Man and revolutionize it? You turn it into a freaking battle royale, which...
Oh, I was going to say Miss Pac-Man, but your answer is right, too.
Well, thank you, David. I mean, Miss Pac-Man is my favorite, but, like, I mean, you know, I love Pac-Man, I love Miss Pac-Man, and, like, wow, is it a great version of Pac-Man? You know, it combines like all your regular strategies and throws a bunch of stuff on top of it, like being able to choose like what ability you want and who you're going to attack, getting those chain combos with the ghosts, like clearing the board and getting like your speed up. All these like little nuanced factors, all these little bits of strategy to like stack on top of like classic Pac-Man strategy it was chef's kiss for me.
There's also two important points to remember about Pac-Man 99. One of them is that I'm good at it, and that is something that we should all appreciate. And secondly is that it led to Bennigan's for me because I'm good at it.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think
It was
Pac-Man 99 is the only game that delivered Bennigan's to me.
Heavily featured in the Shacknews stimulus games as a boss battle. Bill came in there and would wreck shop. It
translates.
It's fun. I love that they offer the ability in these 99 games to have a private match and just if you have 98 friends, or if you're on stream and you want to invite your followers into a game, you can with these 99 games. And I think Pac-Man 99 with your friends is a lot of fun.
But you can also just have like a limited match and fill the rest with bots.
Yes,
and that is like a big deal because like
saying,
what other battle royale lets you just fill the rest of the matchup with bots?
Yeah. And
besides Tetris 99, of course.
Some of those bots get filthy, dirty, nasty too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at Pac-Man, but
Yeah.
with Pac-Man 99, I'm like, this is scratching an itch that I did not know I had. It's just, yeah.
Those 99
it's
games,
strategy.
they're like that. Like Tetris 99 owned me for a good 8 months there, and that was my first thing in the morning game, last thing in the evening game. But I have a Tetris problem.
But
Pac-Man did not hit me the same way. I think the game is great. To Sam's point, I'm not that great at it.
It didn't hit me that way either. I'm not that great at it either, but I might be in the minority. I loved Super Mario Brothers 99.
35.
35. Yeah, 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that game.
That game was awesome.
So,
and I'm sad that they got rid of it.
Yeah.
Here's the other brilliant thing about turning it into a battle royale game. Pac-Man at its core has always been about survival and who can survive the longest. So it that is the core of a battle royale game as well. And so I think it ends up like fitting in a way that like if you weren't thinking about it, you'd never think about it. But when it's applied, it just like melts perfectly. Like that's
like the way
chocolate
they
and peanut
implemented,
butter.
you know, that same the analog stick controls where you can attack an opponent or you can attack who's attacking you. I like how they implemented that because like you would drop like these red things on the map and
the red ghosts.
Yeah, the red ghosts, and like the ability to chain together a bunch of ghost kills once you have a power pellet. Like it's just they got a lot of the things that make Pac-Man like iconic right, and they like amplified them.
Yeah,
in,
like
in a very good way.
with Tetris 99, like I could approach it the same way I approach standard multiplayer Tetris. With Pac-Man 99, it's different once they start dropping in those red ghosts, because then it gets a lot harder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
will say
really-
this too. I'm not crazy about the Pac-Man aesthetic, but you know what? They put something in there where they just like let me throw my money at this. They put all their Namco themes on it. Because you know what I do love? I love Dragon Spirit. I love Dig Dug. I love Galaga. I love Mappy. And I love that like they have the characters, the ghosts change up. It's like with Tetris, the themes are like the themes are cool, but it's still essentially the same blocks. I love what they do with the characters and the ghosts in Pac-Man 99 themes.
It even keeps the death animations, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I just think
I
the
really
last.
enjoyed the. Oh, sorry, David.
No. Go ahead, Sam.
I was just gonna say I really like the mystery around it as well. Like not everything is blatantly explained to you. Like you have to kind of work out what the badges do and how that relates to like earning them and the best way to utilize the power ups, because it's not just like this power up does this and this specific thing and you got to try to work it out. And I like I like that level of mystery in my games where you have to do a little bit of digging and work if you really want to get much better at it. You can stay at a surface level and be like, okay, I think this is how it worked, and you can win, but there's that layer that rewards you for moving deeper.
I just think the last Pac-Man game, like I tried this and it didn't really do it for me. I'm not the biggest Pac-Man fan, but the last Pac-Man game that really grabbed me was a Championship Edition way back in like 2006.
Yeah.
I was addicted to that thing. I probably played that on 360 more than I played Geometry Wars, and I loved that game too. And this game just didn't really grab me like that, but it's I think it's a good candidate for the 99 idea, and I do like what they did with it. It just didn't do anything for me.
It's the first time Nintendo made a 99 game or worked with a partner to make a 99 game where it wasn't their IP.
They're significant there. Yeah.
I always appreciate that Bandai Namco is trying different things with Pac-Man, as they've done over the decades.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna, for every Championship Edition and for every Pac-Man 256, you're gonna find a bunch of other stuff that didn't work.
Yeah.
But
Ghostly
I always
Adventures.
appreciate that they keep trying.
Never forget the Ghostly Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
You
Everyone's
mentioned
forgotten.
Geo
it.
Wars, David. I want a Geo Wars 99.
Oh, dude, I'm there.
Or
That would be
Galaga
great.
99.
Yeah.
Period.
Galia 99 would be great.
Centipede 99.
I'm gonna nominate a game probably not many people here have heard of, and it's Halo Infinite's multiplayer.
Hmm.
This Halo franchise has made a big comeback. You like that? Don? You like that, Don? No, I haven't really been like super into Halo probably since 2. I've just kind of like watched them since then. But this one, and I mean this in the nicest way, feels like a Halo game. What I've always liked about Halo is how the gameplay and the aesthetic seemed conjoined. Like Halo's aesthetic is really clean and crisp, yet impactful in terms of feedback. And this game just hits perfectly. It's a great fusion of, I think, game feel and audio cues and visuals. I played a lot of multiplayer. I saw multiplayer over the weekend. I actually went back and forth between keyboard and mouse and gamepad, and I think I actually preferred it with my Xbox One controller, just because to me, like, that is the Halo controller.
Mhm.
And it just felt great. I had a lot of fun, and I'm going to keep playing it for a long time. I'm interested in the campaign, not necessarily for the story, but just because I've always liked the design of Halo's environments and the pacing of them, how they kind of dribble out information and encounters and set pieces. I think they've always been masterful at that. But the multiplayer, I made this point in another argument, like that's a standalone game in and of itself. You can completely ignore the campaign, whether you have Game Pass or not, and just enjoy Halo Infinite multiplayer. And I think that's, I have some issues with the piecemeal style rollout of the game, but if there's any one piece that can stand alone and is attractive for its price point, which is $0, Halo Infinite's multiplayer is really doing it for me. I'd probably pay money for it at this point. It's really good.
You can't beat the price, especially when you put it up against like the annual COD game that came out, or this Battlefield release. We were just talking about in another category.
Yeah.
Like Halo, they really, it was a very smart move on their part to make it free to play. I think,
and they could have mailed that in too. Like they could have just like made it maybe like something lower than Call of Duty or Battlefield, but no, they went all out with this. And as somebody who like loves the big team battle and the rotating objectives, the map designs, the skirmishes, this feels so good. And for this to be a free to play game is just astounding to me.
It just has a great game feel, Ozzy. I completely agree, and it feels like a prestige title that I still can't believe I haven't paid for. It's great.
You guys are talking about Pac-Man 99 now, right?
No, things that I would highlight
Not at all.
in the game are the introduction of new weapons. I think the weapon, the new weapons are awesome. And then these new maps. Sam, in your review, you pointed out that like some of these maps, they're brand new, right? Especially the big team battle maps. They're brand new.
Yeah. They're brand
but
new.
They feel like they're going to be iconic levels. Like 5 years from now, we're going to be still
like Fragmentation, the new big battle map, has sensors of Blood Gulch.
Yes.
Of Blood Gulch, where there's two bases at opposing sides, and you're fighting through these sort of canyony sort of areas.
The contrast that I want to bring up is how well it runs, because like I played Halo Infinite and Battlefield pretty much back to back in terms of time frame. And like Battlefield, like I can get it to run without crashing and generally without many bugs now, but that wasn't always the case. I cranked every setting Halo had all the way up as high as it would go, and it was smooth as butter, giving me like 100 frames per second on PC. It was awesome, absolutely awesome. I had no crashes, no errors, everything. Like that's a big thing in a multiplayer game for PC, is that a lot of PC players turn down settings in the interest of getting more frames, because frames matter more than pretty when you're playing multiplayer. But boy, does Halo let you have pretty and frames at the same time, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm full on obsessed with that game. I've almost got 60 hours in Halo Infinite. It's by far the most fun I've had playing a Halo game, probably since 3. Like I'm getting those feelings. Like I remember the week Halo 3 came out, and it was like there was nothing else in life that mattered other than that game. And Halo Infinite is probably the closest I've gotten to replicating that feeling with the Halo game. So,
I remember playing the Halo 3 beta that came with Crackdown.
Yeah.
Like, I played the hell out of that game before it even launched. And that was largely a free multiplayer version of the game, right? So here we are with a free multiplayer version of Halo Infinite. And I've been getting friends into this game. And that free 99 is a very good selling point for people. It's like, most people have a PC capable of playing this, or they have an Xbox, and this is also on the old Xbox One gen, right?
That's correct, yeah. During the technical preview, I haven't had a chance to try out the beta on my OG Xbox One, but the technical preview I played on my 2013 launch model Xbox One, and I'm like, this is running fine. This is...
Yeah.
So it's 30 FPS.
It's going to have it has like a massive built-in player base right there, which I think is hugely important for a good multiplayer game, to have other people to play with, right? That's why we have that Quiet Lobby award that we give out. Is like, these are games that we wish we could play with people. But yeah, I think there have been problems, obviously, because the way that they launched this game is weird. Almost 3 weeks before the game actually released, here's this multiplayer, and Sam, you pointed this out again in your review, which I highly recommend people read if you haven't read it. The playlists definitely leave something to be desired, and I know we're going to get an update to that probably at launch, but when I come to this game and I played, I don't know how many hundreds of hours in Halo 2, and I don't see the same options that I had in Halo 2. It bothers me. And then I think you also pointed out in your review that the progression system is only tied to multiplayer in this, as opposed to co-op or campaign grinding being attached to leveling up. I think that's a huge change for them.
That was one issue I had, but I don't know how like picky I am being about that, because the difference being in that the MCC, the permutations you'd put on like your Halo Reach character would be reflected within the campaign cutscenes. Whereas in Halo Infinite, you play as the Master Chief in the campaign. It's not your multiplayer Spartan.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're two entirely separate things. So whilst it would be nice to be able to earn Battle Pass progression, it is purely a multiplayer reward system. So yeah, it was just something that was like, I can kind of see why it's not, but going from being able to not was a bit of
and then on top of that, the progression system in general is not great. It launched in a worse condition than it is now, but the grind economy in that game does not seem fair yet.
It wasn't at launch. I think it's significantly better now. You play 6 games each. If you play 6 games, that's enough XP to level up. So you can level up each day. And 6 games, like, I mean, if you're jumping on Halo and you're playing fewer than 6 games, like, where you go?
Hey, but that's what I do. I like to just, the way I want to use Halo, I can't right now. I want to be able to fire it up in the morning when I wake up, play a game of Rumble Pit or 2, and then be on with my day.
Yeah.
And I can't do that right now. But I know I will be able to soon. So
yeah,
it's
to
not the end
343's
of the
credit, they've shown their track record of being able to turn around a launch. And that's not to say that the multiplayer is in a pitiful state. It's not. It's anything but. It's thoroughly enjoyable. But I've got high hopes that it's just going to continue to improve from here on out.
A lot of my complaints with the multiplayer are not about the actual game or the gameplay or even the netcode. It's, I want more.
Yeah,
that's it. That's like literally it, and that speaks to a very good game.
Yeah, you want it's like you want more cake. Like, this cake's delicious, but also can we get some cupcakes over here, because what's up?
Yeah, I think that's my biggest negative, is that I want more, and I think you mentioned it once again in your review. Maps, like, give us some of those old legacy maps, or even reimaginings of those old legacy maps that are maybe inspired by it. But like, man, I would love to play Zanzibar in Infinite. I would love to play Lockout in Infinite. Like, I want to play Midship in Infinite. So everything I'm saying, it's not really negatives. It's just that the game has me wanting more. And as Microsoft is clearly going full bore into games as a service, this game will be their ultimate game as a service for the next generation, for this generation, I should say.
For sure. And one thing about this, like, in terms of just the movement and the feel of it, I feel it harkens back to, as Dono said, Halo 3. Like, Halo 4 and Halo 5, to me, kind of muddied it with the ADSing, the aiming down sights, which is similar to Call of Duty, where you actually pull the gun up. Now it's kind of reverted back to the OG method of you hit zoom, and then suddenly you've got the reticle there. The movement, with, there are crouch jumping spots, even though there are grapple points where you can actually clamber up on top of things. So it feels like a return to form. So that's one benefit, as someone myself who is a massive fan of the original feel of the games.
Ozzy, you have a nomination.
I do have a nomination, and there are games that are just as known for building friendships as it is for ending them, and that's Mario Party. Mario Party has been a thing for the past 25 years, but for most of that history, you've had to invite your friends over to all play in the same room or whatever. I didn't make much of the online feature for Mario Party Superstars, and that's largely because of Nintendo's spotty history with online play. We just saw it earlier this year with Super Mario 3D World. The online for that game is terrible. So I wasn't expecting...
They put online in that?
There's online for 3D World, and it's no good.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting much out of the online play for Mario Party Superstars, but lo and behold, you can actually have a full 50-turn game, and it runs flawlessly. I was as surprised as anybody else. I mean, I know they offered that update for Super Mario Party a few years ago. I didn't get to try it, so I don't have that history to go back on, but the fact that I can, like, reach out to family far away and we can all have a nice long Mario Party session, or even have a short Mario Party session, pause it, come back, pick up right where we left off. I think that's wonderful. I think it's really good for Twitch, especially like watching some of my favorite streamers play their own Mario Party games and nearly come to virtual blows. It's satisfying, and I was really happy with it. It's probably the best Mario Party I played in years, largely because the online play runs so well. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I could wish for is that I wish they could add more boards. I wish they didn't just restrict themselves to the 5 boards, but other than that, it's a great online experience.
I mean, this isn't like a brand new Mario Party though, right?
No, it's like a best of, where they take the 5 best boards from the first 3 games, and the 100 best mini games from the first 10 games. But yeah, they combine it all to like kind of make a new presentation. So I would call it newish.
It is new. Okay. It's like it's because it was built for Switch. It has netcode in it that's actually not garbage, and yeah, they took a lot. I don't know. That game is very formulaic at this point. You know, there's going to be a board. There's going to be mini games. So I think picking the best. It's almost like a best of collection, more than it is like a new game. But yeah, I think it's definitely eligible for this category. That's a good nomination. Anybody else with a nomination? Multiplayer game came out this year. No? Really? Nothing else? No Madden?
Oh God. No. Nope.
What about
Forza if it worked?
What about Guilty Gear?
I love Guilty Gear, and I support that all the way. Like as far as like, the matches are really fun. Mm-hmm. I just like Pac-Man 99 more this year.
That's fair.
As far as multiplayer games go.
I wanted to bring it up because the netcode is very solid in that game. I know that the lobby system's a little weird, but yeah, it seemed like it was worth at least mentioning in this category.
For sure. If it wasn't for the lobby system, I'd be more probably forward about mentioning it. But like that lobby system is ugly.
And I agree with you, Chris. If Forza had a competent multiplayer mode right now, we could actually play, I would probably nominate it. And I can tell you that just based on what I've seen on Slack this weekend, if Forza shipped with a better online experience, it might have been in a lot more categories this year. But I personally, having played a lot of Forza games, I'm willing to give Playground the benefit of the doubt that they will fix this eventually. It just sucks because we can't really judge the multiplayer if we can't play multiplayer.
That's the biggest thing for me is that Forza should have everything I want, right? Like it really should. And like I'm kind of like, without giving anything away, like I'm a little on the fence even at this moment where I'm gonna lean in multiplayer, and like there was an opportunity for something to kind of like steal it away, and Forza could have done that, and I'm just like, the one thing I want to do, I can't do.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
I haven't gotten to play too much of it, but I'd like to just nominate like Lemniscate as well, for its ability to offer like a new type of multiplayer experience that I haven't really played before, where it is a time loop, a 25-second time loop, where each player takes turns making moves around the arena. And so at the start of your turn, the previous turns play out in front of you. And so it's a first-person shooter, so you'll see your character run off and do what you did your previous turn. And so there's a whole lot of fun to picking a character, because there's 7 or 9 to choose from at the start, and then working out how you're going to attack the objective or defend the objective, and try to figure out what people are going to do in their what your opponent is going to do in their future turns. So at one point I chose the rocket launcher character, and I pre-fired a bunch of locations where I thought they were going to go in the future to try and defend me. And so then on subsequent loops on their turns, they had to wait for those rockets to explode before they could go. At certain times I used like my sniper and was headshotting and getting kills, and then on my next turn I accidentally ran in front of myself and shot myself, and my previous loop shot me in the head and I died. And part of the advantage of that is like even though you died during your turn, you can play out your moves as a ghost, so that on your next turn you have the opportunity to potentially save yourself, which would then enact those moves. I think it's a really deep and interesting type of multiplayer game that I think it's great. I think it's really clever.
Sam, I've been wondering, do you find yourself kind of rethinking or having to rethink how you usually play first-person shooters while you play Lemnis Gate?
Yeah, because it's not just raw FPS skills.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think, like, a couple of moves ahead of, like, okay, I'm going to use this character at this point, or, you might... one problem I had to really rethink was that in a first-person game, I usually sprint out the gate and go immediately to the objective, but that was kind of shooting myself in the foot because I had to always try and catch up to myself to save myself.
Right.
So it's like, and with only 25 seconds to make a move, the maps are like nice and small and contained, so that you don't have to waste too much time getting to your objective. But yeah, you're totally right. I had to rethink and sort of come up with new ideas.
That's what intrigues me about it.
Yeah.
Nomination.
Yeah, I want to put it up for that.
I have a nomination.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna win or anything. I'm pretty sure I know what's gonna win this category. But I think it deserves a nomination here. Riders Republic is actually a fun multiplayer game. I have a good time hanging out with my friends in there. I think you have a party of 6, which is pretty dope. That you can have private races with your friends, or you can just mess around with your jetpack and fly around and go find some, what are they, like scenic outlook spots or whatever, Blake? There's like actual landmarks.
Yeah, those hidden balloons, and
there's like some emergent gameplay stuff you can do there where you're just like, let's fly as high as we can in this level and then fall and try to spin as many times on our bike as possible before we hit the ground. Like it seems like Ubisoft doesn't always stick the landing on games like this. And I really do think Riders is better than a lot of what they've done in that like racing sports. Genre.
Yeah. The best part of that game is the make your own fun part. Even if you're not into because I gave it some cons when I was talking about some of the racing mechanics and the contact and like stuff like that. But when you're just out and about, like doing whatever with friends, that's where it really shines. Like
the other thing is that you have this massive open world in the game, and they have a really good fast travel teleport mechanic where you can travel to your friend really quickly in it. And I just think that alone is why I'm nominating it. Is I want other games. Like if GTA had that, GTA Online had something like that, I think it'd be more enjoyable. But it's the speed at which you teleport to your friends in the instance that's really something. You're like, wow. Like normally you would see like a loading screen or whatever. They do it very quickly. And it's funny, if your friend is in danger, like if they're rolling down a hill, like bailing or something, you can't teleport to them. It's like your friend is currently not in a safe place to teleport to. But like I do enjoy that aspect of the game quite a bit. It's probably not even gonna get my vote because I think there's a very, very good game that has been nominated in this category.
Pac-Man 99.
But I do think it deserves recognition here. I think the devs, and it was a lot of studios over at Ubisoft that put this work in on Riders Republic, and I just think it deserves some recognition here.
And I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention Knockout City for its unique premise and for its map design, its verticality, and the ability to make giant crews. You can make crews of up to 32 people, so you can get together with your friends whenever they may be on and just have a good time playing some dodgeball.
Here's another one that I kind of was gonna throw out, but I'm sure it'll get just crapped on. Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead. Back 4 Blood.
Well, there you go. There's the Freudian slip right there.
Now, if Left 4 Dead was actually something you could nominate, it might win.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2, I might vote for.
So, I was actually in versus sessions with, I think it was either TJ or Donovan. The other two that were in there with me were Greg and Denny, who aren't here, but I don't know. I wasn't in love with that versus that versus component of Back 4 Blood. I think I'll bring it up more for best co-op
Yeah, that's,
And
that's
I think
my
it'll
bad.
and I think
Yeah.
it'll probably be a potential front runner for best co-op. But as far as competitive multiplayer, I wasn't feeling Back 4 Blood.
That multiplayer is weird, but I just kind of wanted to mention it. It was a game that shipped this year. It's
I
to
appreciate
describe it, like it's kind of like a horde thing where it's asymmetric, right? So you're either the zombies or you're the cleaners.
But it doesn't feel balanced though.
No,
That's the
not at
issue with
all.
me.
The horde, I think the horde is way OP, but yeah, like there's a time limit that you have to stave off the horde, and then if you survive that time limit, you win that round, and then it flips, and then the other team's the cleaners and you're the horde. Yeah, I like when people or when devs take risks like this, but they messed up where there isn't a competitive campaign co-op in this that existed in the Left 4 Dead series, and I think Chris, you mentioned that in your review. But yeah, I think that's where they missed on this. And then instead they gave us this mode, to Ozzy's point, that I don't think many people are gonna. I don't think it has much staying power.
No.
But I just want to mention it. I think that's it. I think we got enough nominations, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Also, I was just going to ask: is Splitgate full release?
No.
No. Okay. Also, yeah.
It's not really a good game yet either, so we'll.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
Which is so funny because we were gonna look at that as the new Halo, and then Halo just came and blew its doors off.
no.
Turns out Halo was the new Halo.
We looked at it as a bargain bin knockoff Halo with portals. Is how I was. It filled that void very nicely this summer, but its netcode is atrocious. Like the first minute of gameplay in Splitgate is almost uniformly terrible. It's worse on some maps than others, but it's also early access, so I don't want to judge it fully yet. But in its current state, I would not have nominated it. Although I did have a really good time playing it earlier this year.
I had a lot of fun with the few matches that I was able to play with you, Asif, and like even though I'm connecting from Australia, I seem to have a pretty alright time with the connection. And
You would agree that first minute of gameplay, it's an 8-minute match. That first minute of gameplay was full of like hitches and I don't know. Halo Infinite's very clean. Like when you finally load into the game, because sometimes it takes a while to find a match, but when you finally load into a game in Halo Infinite, there is no discernible issues like that. I guess there is some hit detection lag on PC, but nothing as bad as what you will encounter in Splitgate right now. So now Splitgate's not eligible. Maybe next year, and I hope they take some of that money they got and they really put it into investing into that user experience, because they do have something there. I think portals in Halo. Don, we were talking about another category. When we're playing Infinite, it'd be like, that'd be kind of cool if they had portals in this game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it. It'd be really fun.
Yeah. Let's get to vote. What do you say?
Yeah.
I'll start with Chris. What is your best multiplayer game?
You convinced me on Riders Republic, so I'll go that direction.
Nice. Blake, you are on Pac-Man 99.
The true winner, the true victor.
Yeah, we'll see. Sam.
Surprising no one. I'm gonna have to go with Halo Infinite.
I'm just gonna let everyone
I'm
know
shocked,
now
Sam.
instead of later. Greg also voted for Halo Infinite. Bill.
This is tough because there's one I'd rather play and one I'd rather play with friends. But friendship wins, and I'm gonna vote Halo.
No.
Ozzy.
I'm gonna say Halo.
Here come the Halos. TJ.
Pac-Man 99.
Pac-Man Fever. Donovan, Halo.
Of course, Halo Infinite.
David.
Halo.
My vote doesn't matter, so I'm gonna vote for Riders Republic.
And
But Halo's great. Halo's
Yeah.
great. I feel like Riders didn't get a whole lot of love this year, and not every Ubisoft online game is great. This is actually pretty good, and I hope they support it, because that's a game that you could add new modes to or stuff. But yeah, it looks like Halo Infinite won our best multiplayer game of the year. How about that?
We built this facility off the grid to train the next generation of Spartans. To be a Spartan, you must become the impossible.
Greetings, Spartan. It would be my pleasure to serve at your side.